I'm going for just about 5 to 7 days, but I guess I can never get the idea of not overpacking into my mind. But could also be because sometimes I get into a place and feel like extending my stay. Anyways, guys, let's go back to where it all started. Let's go back to where I started to have this feeling of wanting to be in a new place. Let's go back to where I realized that I love being around people that are different from where I come from, learning about their culture, their way of life, their kind of food. Let's go back to the place that made me realize that I really love this travel thing. Story time, story time, story time. And so the story begins of how this place that I'm traveling to right now changed my entire life and the way that I look at life. So I'm going to start with a bit of background so that we get to see what I want to tell you guys in the end. So let's start at around my age and around the time I was in high school. So in high school, I lived in Mukono and I studied in a school where my father taught. So my late father was a teacher in this school and we stayed in the staff quarters, which means that there were houses within the school compound where teachers stayed, and so we lived there as a whole family. And so home and school were the same place for me.
Yeah, baby coach. Yes, I say. Baby coach, see baby coach, KKT.
I booked KKT already. Where is the bus?
Already booked. Okay. Can I help you? Hang on, Lorano. Banana grab a menu, the menu. Uganda Zombo. Uganda Arua. District here of Arua.
Arua? Yeah.
Kolera kugonde ku radio ya kwa area.
Radio. Si kolera Arua.
Ndio kolera ku radio. Ngo tambula na kamera muna.
Bino byange.
Wakala kupata foto yonna muri wotuka. Bakulaba wali area.
Guys, I made it. I'm using KKT. I booked my ticket yesterday, so I'm just waiting for the bus. Thought I'd be late, but I guess we are on time. Thank you.
Okay.
What time is the bus coming?
No?
What time is the bus coming?
It's for one.
Yeah, but I thought it would be here already.
What?
I thought it would be here already.
Then you are going to one.
One, yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, I'm right on time. Thought I was late, but it's 12:35 and I guess we start boarding at 12:30, so just waiting for the bus. I literally went from home, sloped down to the classes, had my lessons, and then at the end I would go back home. We moved to Mukono when I was in P2, which was 2003, and we lived there until early 2019. So all those years, those would be 16 years, I lived in the same compound, and for the 6 years of my high school, I stayed in the same place that I studied in. And I always longed for a change of environment. And I'd be excited Every single time would have to go to the village to visit my grandparents, or even just take a trip to go visit some of my other relatives. I'd always be so excited to change the environment. Guys, they've given us such an old bus. I just can't. It's really old. Now I need to see if my luggage will fit here. And I always knew deep down within me that I was excited for road trips. I was excited to be in new places. But I had not much of a choice. And so after my Form 6, I filled the job forms where I would be applying for government sponsorship. And I remember I had all these courses lined up, but then a teacher that was helping me fill these forms recommended that I try out a new university, which was in Arua. It was about to fit, but I don't know if I'll be able to take it out. So imagine yesterday when I booked, I was the very first person to book on this bus. But I don't know, I didn't choose the front seat. Like there next to the driver. I remembered when I was done booking and I'd already left. Oh, this bus is late. They said 1, but we boarded at 1:35 over. We might leave here at 2. And so because it's new and far away, it wouldn't be most of the people's choice. You know, everyone wants to be like within town, Kampala, B, and all that. And so meaning that few people would apply that side. And so my chances of getting in were higher. I remember I put it at like the 3rd and 4th choice, if I'm not mistaken. And then I put the first 2 to be at, I think, Makerere and Chambogo University, if I'm not mistaken. And I waited. Vacation got done. I didn't go anywhere. I spent it at home. And I worked in one of the school canteens. And I just lived life. And then when my results were back, I remember that day I'd gone to the salon. I was so scared of checking my results. I actually told my mom, do not check. I refused to give her my registration number. But my dad, of course, was a teacher at that school, so he somehow found out, and then they checked my results for me, and then my mom called me and she's like, oh, you passed. So I got 18 points out of 20 points. I sat my Form 6 in 2014, and I performed very well, I should say. My biggest excitement and biggest thing that I'm proud of is because I got an A in math, but it was a pure A. I literally got D1 in paper 1, D2, D1 in paper 2, so it was a distinction. And I remember my dad pointed it out when I came home that evening from the salon and gave me a hug. And we celebrated as a family with a small meal that he had brought home. And so now the decision on where I would study my university from started to linger on in the air. And I remember after some time they published in the papers where each student had gotten. They published to show you, for those that applied for government sponsorship, they published to show you where you've been placed, what university they've put you in with the course that you applied for there. Guys, we're in Luwero. So many pineapples. It has never changed. It used to be the same way back when I used to come here. And I saw in the papers I was put at Moni University in Arua, and I was given a course called Information Systems, something to do with computers. Apparently, if I might pause a bit, I had told some friend of mine while I was in O-level that I would want to do a computer course. I would want to be so skilled and knowledgeable and advanced when it comes to technology and computer and all that. And when I got this course, that's when this person told me that this is what I always wanted, even though I didn't remember telling them any of that. Anyways, at this point, I had to sit with myself before I even asked my parents, and I just thought to myself, this is it. This is my chance to be far away from home. this is my chance to finally change the environment, to finally be in a new place, to finally try out different things, experience different culture, different food, to just be in a whole different place and learn more about myself and the world at large. And so I sat down with my parents and I told them I was going there, but my dad was a bit hesitant. I think he thought that it was so much of a stretch for me to go all the way there where I knew no one, to be there by myself. Mind you, at this point I'm making this decision and I didn't even know if I would ever meet anyone there who spoke Luganda. By then I knew English, but I was not speaking English regularly. We were speaking Luganda at home and Luganda at school. Even though I was being taught in English, I could understand and I could read, but speaking would take a bit of time because it would be like I'm hearing what you're saying and I'm understanding, but then when it's time for me to speak, I have to kind of first translate in my mind and then speak. So I didn't even know if where I was going people spoke English or if people spoke Luganda. I didn't know what languages they spoke, but me, I was down and ready for that challenge. And so my dad actually tried to get me money to apply at Makerere University for an engineering course. At passed very well, of course, I would qualify for it. But I sat with myself and decided I will not do it. And I told them I was going to Arua. And so, fast forward to, I think, early August or late July, I had to go and pick my admission letter. And that was the first day that I traveled to Arua. So when I told my dad I would have to go and pick my admission letter, I really thought he would be so sympathetic and take me. But my dad looked me in the eye and told me this was now the time for me to become more mature, more grown up, to be able to do things on my own. So even though I'd never actually traveled alone, I was going to do it by myself, to go to a place I'd never been to. And he gave me money. I was using Facebook a lot then. Thank God we weren't the first lot in this new university. I was in the second lot. So there were a few people at the university already. And so I had to go to Facebook, search Money University, find a few people that are studying there, get in touch with them, ask them about how to travel, locations and all that. My dad also gathered information from some of the people that he knew were coming from West Nile, and they recommended on where to find the buses, the costs, the best time to travel and all that. And that afternoon, I made my way to Arua Park. It was so new to me. I feel like I'd never been there, but I didn't really know that that's why you get buses to take you to West Nile. And there are those guys that grab you, and I think they get a commission for it, like per customer. So I didn't know where to go. I didn't know the different bus companies, but one of those random guys told me, baby coach. He took me to the offices. I bought a ticket. I was told, and my father was advised, that if I travel in the night, I would reach in the morning, and then I would be able to pick my admission and get onto the morning bus back home. So I booked a bus for the night. I went back home, freshened up, should I say, came back to town. The bus was leaving at 10 p.m. I got onto the bus, and I set off to a journey that would change my life forever. So we took the night bus like I told you, and on the way I think the driver didn't notice one of the humps. He hit it so hard. We all kind of flew in the air, hit the roof of the bus with our heads and all that. The bus was kind of in a bad, the bus was in a bad condition, so there were a bit of like hanging rusted kind of metals, and one of it fell down and hit some guy at the back. He was bleeding. Thank God they got our first aid kits, treated his wound, and we continued with the journey. I got there in the morning, and at this point I don't remember if I was in contact with anyone from the university or if I relied on the locals' knowledge, but I was able to get a motorcycle to Muni University, went to the office, picked my admission form. It was so fast. And then I got a motorcycle back to Arua town. By then it was a town. It's currently a city. Waited. I think I must have used a whole different bus to come back. And I think I got onto the maybe 9 a.m. kind of 10 a.m. bus back home. And when I came back home, I could not wait to tell the story. And my dad looked at me. He was so proud of me. And he said, you see, you did it. You went by yourself. You used your mouth to ask for directions where you couldn't. You stepped out of your comfort zone. So I guess you can do this. And I spent, I think, the next month planning and preparing on when to come back to Arua to start my studies. Guys, we are out for a break, which means we've been driving for 4 hours. So I've realized these buses stop every 4 hours. Even when we are going to Kenya, every 4 hours they would stop. We are now in Kigomba. I can only tell because I've read on a signpost. And this is the bus we came with. I can get drinks or eats from there if I want to. I'm kind of trying not to overeat so that when I reach I have one whole meal. I didn't even have lunch. My appetite is kind of off, but also I'm bloated. So I'm trying not to overeat. We are really going to reach so late. We are going to reach at like 9. Now I'm starting to wish I got the 8 a.m. bus because I think it left at 10. I think people are few or something. That's why they don't go on time. But anyways, I'll reach at 10. Kigomba looks so green. There is like a hill there. Okay, this camera can't zoom in. There is like a hill or mountain. I can't even point for you. Like somewhere there. So this, I say that this is the place where everything started for me, because it was me choosing to go to Arua was like the most scariest thing I'd ever done. But it was also the thing that really pushed me out of my comfort zone. I literally carried myself out of my comfort zone and chose to place myself in a place where everything and everyone was new. And that's how I realized that it was a part of me. It was a desire deep within me that I always wanted to accomplish. And I spent my 3 years in Arua in such a beautiful way. I traveled so much across West Nile. I keep wishing that by then I'd started vlogging, because I would have showed you guys all the different places I went to. I reached Paida, I reached Adjumani, I reached Moyo, I reached Gulu, I reached Nuea district, Pakwaj. Not just passing through on a bus, but like going deep within those parts and being able to experience and see different things. And from then on, my desire for travel and seeing new places only grew and grew and grew. And so 5 years later, from the time I left Arua, I always knew that I wanted to come back. But today is the day that I go back. Today is the day that I go back to where everything started, and I want to bring you guys along. And I hope that we can experience. I'm going to be reacting to different things and how they've changed over the years. So look out for my other videos from West Nile. If you're new here, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to support financially, kindly join the membership community, where you contribute a small amount to the channel and get different perks that other people might not be able to get. Guys, I made it. Good morning. I'm finally in Arua. It is a rainy morning. Surprised. But why am I even surprised? Around July, August is Arua's rainy season, and it gets worse in August. So I guess I've come at the right time. And what I mean by the right time is it's a few days to August. So deep within August, it would have been raining so much. Anyways, I couldn't conclude this vlog last night. It got dark. I couldn't do anything. But the worst thing, that bus dragged. An 8 hours journey turned into an 11 hours journey. Like I told you guys, I thought I would reach at 10, latest 10:30. No, I reached at 1:30 a.m. I don't know what happened. Okay, the roads are bad. I remember the roads used to be way better back then, but the roads were bad, so the bus was dragging. They also made so many stops. I really don't know what happened, because there is no way an 8-hour journey can turn into 11. It could have been like 9, worst 10, but 11. Anyways, I'm here now. I only slept for like 4 hours, but I guess today I'll go out and explore a bit. That's if the sun comes out. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. that's how Arua became the place where everything started for me. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.